If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Here is on the clock. 5 minutes of great sports radio from Pasadena to you, James Revere on WNST as part of the Baltimore Sports Media Superstar Competition. Go for it, James. Have some fun.
Well, feels good to be here on Revere's Ride on WNST AM. A thing I think that really gets lost here in these sports days and these statistics is a lack of patience. And that's just not, it's not just watching Adam Jones sit there flailing at that 3-2 slider on the outside corner when he's really struggling and he's pressing for contact. But it's the little things as well, like the loyalty that you really miss these days. I mean, gone are the likes of Cal Ripken and Mariano Rivera, those guys that just love the stadium and they love the team that they grow up with. They come to the town, they do good for the community and the sports team in the city. And they never even blink at the chance to leave. They always stay put. And that's something that I think is really sad, at least in regards to loyalty and the patience to stick with teams through the good and the bad. I mean, you could take, for example, Baltimore football fans. Who hasn't shown more patience than all of us? 1983, it's such a dark time when the Colts, they get onto that Mayflower and, they kind of sail and drive all of our dreams right out of the town. Luckily, Mr. Irsay wasn't in charge of driving the truck, otherwise it might have been a scary concept. But, it's been a long road, and then we're finally rewarded with a team that now is one of the, just the upper echelon franchises in this business. But you can take that one step further, and you can go with the quarterback scenario. And, yes, I know he gets beaten, like a racehorse going in the Preakness, but it's been such a rough ride until Flacco was drafted in 08. I mean, who can't forget that streak without a touchdown and Trent Dilfer winning the Super Bowl for us in 2000? And then Gerback, oh my gosh, we signed Elvis Gerback. And what happens? Cersei goes down and Lewis go down with injuries. And we have to resort to Randall Cunningham on the last legs of his career to get us through. And then Jeff Blake and Chris Redmond days and what I like to call the Dark Ages. And no, not because of the plague, but because of Kyle Bowler and his plague-like play. And then just that brief glimmer of hope with Steve McNair in 06. It's been such a trying time in Baltimore faithful, just in their patience and their dedication behind a team. But Flacco comes in, he gets down to business, and he finally gets us that Super Bowl that, I hate to tell you, Steeler fans, we've actually been averaging more rings per year per season, year-wise than you guys have. So when we do get to 6 rings, which will be soon, then we'll have that argument again. But you go to the patience as well. You can harken back to the days just after the Orioles wire-to-wire year in 1997. Ray Miller, one of the best pitching coaches I've ever seen in my time as an Orioles fan. They decided to give him the job as the manager, and I don't know what happened, if it was lost in translation, but, Erickson goes down with that injury. Moose turns his back on us after a little while, but the talent just doesn't show up. And to think Mike Hargrove was going to do the same thing that he did in Cleveland with this team, it was a different story. Lee Mazzilli or Sam Perlazzo's, it was such a rough time that even when your patience was at its most thin, the team would seem to do something else to make it just that much shorter. And then Dave Tremblay, let's not forget the pain and mimicry days. I love that saying, by the way. It's my tagline on my Xbox account. And then just as Juan Samuel and Andy McPhail train set off into the sun, here comes Buck as he steps down off ESPN, and he finally gets here to the promised land that is Charm City. And as you can see, the rewards are finally starting to, they're really starting to build up. I mean, Dan Duquette has this Moneyball thing almost down to a science, which I really didn't have a chance to understand, not being an Oakland Athletics fan. But as you've seen with the likes of Steve Lombardozzi and Ryan Flaherty and, barring any more trips to the Orient and trying to sign 16-year-olds again, which we've been outlawed to do. It's a different time, it's a different culture here in Baltimore. And it feels really, to see all that hard work paid off, the patience it's taken as a fan has been an absolutely wonderful thing. I mean, I can even go a step further, it's not that prevalent as it has been, but you take certain players nowadays like Akeem Noah, on the Chicago Bulls, finally winning the Defensive Player of the Year. It's kind of been that same thing of he gets Derrick Rose, You think it's the second coming of Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan, minus the cross-dressing and bad tattoos. But that determination and that loyalty to a city has just been something that pro athletics just don't seem to have anymore. So it's always been worth noting to me, just not so much as a fan, but also as a student of the game as well. So it's kind of a reason, just why I find this so passionate is the fact of, to get here, I've had to have that patience, and it's just kind of a sad thing in regards to sports. It doesn't seem to happen anymore. So that was all I have here.
And you are?
I'm James Revere for the Baltimore Sports Media Superstar.
There you
That
go.
was my audition tape.
That's 5 minutes. How's that?
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.